Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy March. Welcome, 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 welcome. Now, this is not my Off the Monorails show, but it's still it's still late night chats. It's not late night. It's 8 o'clock. Oh, for some people though, it's really late. Glad you can all make it. Just a quick update. This is not supposed to be too long. I haven't been really streaming all too much, aside for Roxy's home streams. It's just been really, really, really busy on my end. So that's really the reason why. But just a couple things that I'm really, really, really am excited to talk about because we've got some big things. Hello, Sam. How are you? It's definitely been a while. I've definitely missed you too. But a few things. Let's start with the West Coast because really on Roxy's stream, she really focuses on Walt Disney World because she's never been to Disneyland and I have. So it was my show off moment for the day. But they're starting to open more things up in Southern California. Now they're going to have this Touch of Disney event, which I think is really, really, really unique. Which other theme parks in Southern California have done sort of what Disney's doing with California Adventure, where they've sold tickets for festivals. It's basically going to be a festival without the attractions. The park's going to be open. You're going to have some live entertainment. You're going to have a shopping, dining. But the kicker here is that everybody, the base admission comes with a $25 gift card, good for food and non-alcoholic beverages, and good at certain locations. I believe table service is not included. But you get $25 to spend to eat, which is awesome. So it's $75, but really, it's $50 to get in, and you get $25 for food, which is awesome. And you get to experience pretty much a lot of California adventure. Some of the festival booths are open. Again, there's exclusive merchandise. There's going to be a set of ears, which I don't have my ears right now. I actually moved into my room, but you're going to have those the Mickey's Fun Wheel or Pixar Pal Around ears, which is awesome. Hello, Surfer Girl. How are you? Welcome. So it's giving those people that taste of Disney, that touch of Disney, so to speak. And it's not going to be traditional California Adventure music. It's going to be regular old Disney music, which is, I think, it's good because it gives people a sense of both Disneyland and Disney's California Adventure. But I believe it's going to be weekends only, maybe at night. But they've actually lit California Adventure at night, which is awesome. You can see the Cadillac range of cars land all lit up. The entire park's lit up, and from what I understand, Main Street is now lit up as well in California. And the rumor is that the restaurants in Disneyland might open up with Main Street as well. So Main Street will now become the extension of their downtown Disney. It's still called Downtown Disney, whereas California Adventure will be the special ticket event. And kind of drawing up more excitement to get people to go, which is awesome. And I've seen pictures of Marvel's the Avenger campus in California Adventure. I have to say that it's coming along pretty well. Outside the Spider-Man ride, they're actually installing robotic spiders, and you can actually see them install these robotic spiders that you're going to end up shooting kind of like Buzz Lightyear, I think a little bit, um, in California, which is it's a little hint of what's inside the attraction. So I'm excited for that as well. I can't wait for Avengers Campus to open so we can actually see and experience it. Um, but there's so much to experience in Florida as well. Flower and Garden starts Wednesday. It's the first Flower and Garden Festival. Hopefully, it doesn't last 2 weeks like the last one, right? I was supposed to go last year. Hope maybe I can plan a weekend trip. I do still have some flight credits that actually I can use. Uh, and just have be enjoy myself for the weekend. Enjoy the Flower and Garden Festival. Maybe snack a little bit. Ride a few rides. Get a park pass. I don't know. I've already had this in my head, but I'm also trying to save up for the 50th because I know I want to go for the 50th anniversary. Now, if you're watching Life with Roxana, I'm not too much of a fan of the current castle color scheme in general. Um, I prefer the grayer, beigeier castle, I guess. More so to this pinkish castle that they're going with, and then they're going to wrap it up with bunsy. But I just don't think it's enough. And every single time that I try to defend myself, Aaron kind of shut me down a little bit. And I just want to again explain what my thinking is. And it really, really has to do with that it's not enough. If you look at the 50th anniversary for Disneyland, the happiest celebration on earth, they put like spirals around the roofs of the castle. It wasn't too much because they had trinkets though. It was a little bit more 3D in that giant picture window. But yeah, it really feels like it's unfinished. Again, I'm not really a fan of that color scheme on Surfer Girl. But like the bunting, it looks minimalistic. It looks like we'll just throw a couple things here, a couple things there. I know they can't do anything 3D again because of the projections, and Happily Ever After relies on the projections. But I think they could have put at least a few more banners on there. Banners are flat 2D, maybe pixie dust and some logos and some characters. They could have put banners up and have it not really interfere all so much with the castle. That's what I was looking for. And so again, I really want to kind of explain myself with that. But I am looking forward to Hollywood Studios and the projections on. Yeah, I agree. Surfer Girl. Why didn't they do more gold? It's rose gold. I think they didn't. One thing is they didn't want a repeat of the happiest celebration on earth. Now that's 15 years ago, 16 years ago. And 16 years is a long time. If you could have been born in 2005 and you'd be 15, 16 this year. Those people are in high school now. So the kids, if they're targeting kids, you're really not they won't remember it whatsoever. It's like with Disney World's 25th anniversary, 95, so 10 years later, they had the birthday cake castle. Of course, they didn't do birthday cake with Disneyland Castle. So I think they didn't want to do gold again because that's what they did with Disneyland. And maybe that they were going to make this a worldwide celebration. Well, again, it's rose gold. So gold is still gold, but it's rose gold. But it's not, to me, it's not gold. I don't know about you, it's not gold. But hopefully, I liked how they did with the Disneyland 50th, where any opening day or opening year attraction, they painted one of the one of the attraction cars gold. So maybe they'll paint one of like each ride vehicle in an iridescent bluish. Although I am a fan of Mickey and Minnie's costumes. It does remind me of the Year of a Million Dreams costumes that they had. If you remember way back when, um, they're giving out free fast passes and you could stay in the castle. Um, yeah, I agree. Laughing on the rose gold part, right? Um, but I do think the costumes they're good. I think they're good. Oh no, Surfer Girl, I am with you. I pink. My favorite color is red. Pink technically is a form of red, but I don't know. Like to me, going back to this whole castle thing, it just does. It works for Disneyland's castle. It does. I've seen Disneyland's castle in its pink and blue color scheme, and it works there because it's a much smaller castle, and the color doesn't overpower. It is because it's much smaller, and there's more gray brickwork. Um, my avatar for my channel is me in front of the ice castle for Christmas. But I think I do have or the pictures. Maybe it's on my Instagram page. Um, of Sleeping Beauty Castle. If not, I will post one right after this and show you. Again, it can't be overpowering. Whereas Disney World's castle, it's like over twice the size of or height of the Anaheim castle, and has much more of that exposed wall, a lot less brick. So that pink color, yes, it's going to fade over time, but I don't know. Like it's, ugh. They could have done something to match Mickey and Minnie's costumes for the 50th. That iridescent blue thing, or maybe there was supposed to be another layer of paint covering the castle and to match their dress and for Minnie and match the suit for Mickey. You never know. That could have been the case. And they just decided we'll just leave the primer on there because that looks good enough because of COVID. That could have been it. That really could have been it. So I really don't think that doesn't sound like a stretch actually. But I do like the costume. I do like how they're putting projections on Tower of Terror to make it look like the golden era of buildings in the golden era of cinema, and or like I call it the golden era of fantasy and imagination or something back in like the 30s. To make Tower of Terror look like what it would have looked like before everything happened. And it kind of, which I don't know. It's cool. It doesn't really fit the theme of Tower of Terror, per se, but maybe they can take that during Halloween, take that projection and maybe fade it and make it more spooky. For me, it fits because it's designed is based on the Tower of Terror and to kind of contour the lines. Whereas for Christmas, when they use that projection system, it really does not fit the Tower of Terror at all. Like it fits Sunset Boulevard. When you look at Tower of Terror, it makes it look not scary whatsoever, and it can be a pretty scary ride. Yeah. So I'm glad that they're using it for something other than just Christmas. Although I would really, really, really love to see Halloween. Like they're missing a big opportunity to put a Halloween projection on the Tower of Terror. And just test that out. Maybe it has to do something with the time it takes to change over because Halloween and Christmas, there's pretty much like only 5 or 6 days between Halloween and Christmas now, sometimes even shorter. Although I think when Halloween's in the middle of the week, I think Christmas will start a little bit later at Disney parks, but when Halloween's a weekend, The next weekend's pretty much up. Um, so I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to the Tree of Life. They're going to do again the Tree of Life Awakenings projections, but they're going to make fireflies appear over the Tree of Life. Now, could that be just extra projections? Of course. But could this be drones? Could they have actually invested the money in drones and kind of have them hover over the Tree of Life? We don't know, but the concept art looks pretty cool. Wouldn't surprise me if it's a projection, but maybe drones. And that at night, I do think the castle does look better at night. Um, I don't know if they're projecting a face onto the castle or not, just like they did with Christmas. But again, there's supposed to be pixie dust being poured all over the castle. That probably will be drones. If there's if fireworks are going to be brought back, because it seems weird not to have fireworks for the 50th anniversary. But I don't know. I don't think there's going to be fireworks for the 50th anniversary unless things open up and the social distancing mechanisms can really go away. But I don't know if that. We'll see. We'll see. Things hopefully are getting back to normal. But then Epcot. Oh, I know. For some of you go so watching, it's like, oh, he's ranting again. I am. Maybe that should be just rant with me. On another rant, but with Epcot. Oh, it's my favorite park. Was my favorite park. Excited for the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. I'm glad they're making some use out of the old Wonders of Life Pavilion. Having that play area, that play pavilion, would I go in it? Probably. Would I look around and actually do some of the stuff? Probably not, from what I can see. It is definitely geared for little kids. Really, especially since you have Test Track, Mission Space, and Guardians of the Galaxy. It does bring a nice balance to bring something for kids into that section of the park, because the rest of it's just thrills. Of course, you do have. Little kids could probably do Test Track as long as they meet the height requirement, but everything will have a height requirement except for that. So if the older brother, dad, older sister wants to go on Mission Space, they can go on Mission Space, and mom can take the little ones to the play pavilion. So that is definitely a plus. Although I don't know if it really fits the theme of Epcot. Again, they're putting so much IP in it. Journey of Water, I think that should look cool. I think it, as long as they don't, again, tone down the budget for that, instead of just make it a couple fountains, really make it about the whole water cycle and you're learning about the water cycle. Keep that educational aspect in. I don't know. They haven't really announced an opening time for that yet, but hopefully it does open within the next year or two and they can get really started on that section once they tear down the old Innovations. I believe it's Innovations West. So that they can really open up the center of the park again. If you haven't known, I really actually went to Disney opening weekend for Hollywood Studios and Epcot Center. And it was a Food and Wine Festival. I've never been to a Food and Wine Festival, probably my only one, but delicious. All the food was delicious. I wish I could go back. I wish I could have park hopped because we would have ended every night. Ended every night there and just grabbed some food. If park hopping was allowed, that would have been awesome. But the walking around the World Showcase, it really didn't seem any different from the last time we were there, or even the time previous before that. Although, did they start turning down Epcot? I don't remember now. No, because 2019 when we were there, yeah, everything was still there. 2020, everything was already torn up. And it was really, really, really hard to navigate. If you wanted to go from Soarin' to Test Track, you couldn't cut straight across. You had to go around to the front of the park, which that's technically the long way around. Or you had to go basically in through World Showcase, basically, almost World Showcase. And either way, it was hard to navigate Future World. I loved Soarin'. We got to ride Soarin' a couple times. We did Living with the Land. We did The Seas. I don't really like Nemo Ride. I think they really need a redo with Nemo and Imagination. Honestly, if I only rode Journey into Imagination once because I don't like that ride. It is like, first of all, who thought did Disney really think that adults want to smell the smell of a skunk? Maybe kids, but not adults. Like, it's a horrible iteration. I get Figment's cute. Figment's a lovable character. Don't get me wrong. The song gets stuck in your head. It is a classic Sherman Brothers song. I get that. Don't argue me with that. But the way that they did that ride, that iteration, version 3.0, is it 3.0? It stunk. It stinks. And you hear Tony Baxter saying, I'll come out of retirement to redo that ride. I think that's a big hint that there's a plan for it. He has a plan. It just needs to be greenlit. And anything, honestly, I say this now, but anything is better than 2.0 or 3.0. It needs a refresh. The whole pavilion really needs a refresh. But there's a lot of things going on and a lot of things that were cut. Ratatouille looks like a generic ride. Again, it utilizes the trackless technology, which the only ride that I can think of right now that's fully tracked, and I guess it's not fully trackless, is Rise of the Resistance. So we got a taste of that in Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. Again, it's a carbon cutout cookie cutter ride. Oh, Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway. That's another trackless one. But it's a cookie cutter ride taken directly from Paris. So if you want to see what Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is going to look like, maybe not sound like, because they speak French, obviously in the French version of the ride. But maybe hear some of the sights and sounds. Watch YouTube. There's plenty of videos, and it uses a lot of screens. It looks Universal to me, like it came from Universal. I like it again. It brings much needed capacity to World Showcase. World Showcase, since Norway opened, only had 2 rides: Maelstrom and the Mexican boat ride, which was El Rio del Tiempo when it first opened, the River of Time, and then Gran Fiesta Tour starring the 3 Caballeros is the current version of that ride. For a couple of years, it was that boat ride was the only boat ride, the only actual physical sit down ride in the entire World Showcase. Besides, you do have the sit down show at the American Adventure, titled the American Adventure. So you walk half around, you can see animatronics and watch an animatronic show. But the only physical vehicle ride when people go to Disney, you want to ride rides, that was at the entrance to the World Showcase, right at the right when you head to the left. And so I think when you see all those memes, like, do you go to the left like a normal person? Do you go to the right like a crazy person? I think now, like, it makes sense to go to the left because you have Mexico. There's the rides. The rides are to the left. Of course, Mexico has great food. Norway has great food. China has great food. Canada really has great food too. Like no matter which way you go, you're going to get great food. But the rides are to the left. If you go to the right, but with Remy, if you go to the right now, it's not so quite so far fetched because you have Ratatouille Adventure. Maybe that's what you want to hit up first. So maybe the people that choose Canada over Mexico in the World Showcase, maybe they're not going to be so crazy come the end of the year. But I'm to kind of wrap this up because I want to keep this about a half hour long. Can we talk about that fountain / harmonious barges? Now, when they brought in the first barge, I'm like, okay, this is huge. I'll wait till it looks more complete. They brought in the second one. I'm like, all right, this is still going to be a fountain. They're going to make it a fountain during the day. This still could look good. And now they brought in the center water screen. Can't speak to my sanity. Thank you. I appreciate that one. I can attest that I am sane. But that whole thing, that I just don't know how good that fountain's gonna look. It's there's a saying about a Hershey bar wrapper. You can wrap something in a Hershey bar wrapper and call it a Hershey bar, but it's still going to be that something in the middle. If you kind of catch my drift. So I mean, you could turn on fountains. I know. I love you guys too. So don't worry. I know you're joking. But like that whole purpose is trying to cover it with water as a fountain. Yes, it brings fountains back to World Showcase, which I love that, or brings a fountain to the World Showcase Lagoon, brings some more kinetic energy to the park. But at the same time, it really is just a screen to cover up the harmonious barges. And I don't know. I don't think it looks good. Again, harmonious could quote unquote blow me out of the water. Or no pun intended, it could be the best show on earth. And I could justify, okay, those barges are there because of the fireworks and because of the nighttime spectacular. I'll take it. If it's a good nighttime spectacular, I will take it. But the memes I've seen tons of people. I think Chase Ross on his Instagram put a picture of as it was Stargate, that the water screen for the Harmonious Barge water screen. I've been sent a picture of somebody or they superimpose a putter and they turn Spaceship Earth into a golf ball, like they're going to putt through the barge opening, the water screen opening, like it was some sort of like mini golf course. Universal, if you remember, trolled even just the one barge up there. So again, if it's just going to be a water fountain during the day, I'll be disappointed. If they do something with the water and kind of do like a little daytime show with the water fountains, I'll be a little bit happier. Don't get me wrong, I will be a little bit happier because again, they're bringing more energy to the World Showcase. Then again, I think some of my fondest memories, though, have sometimes that relaxing stroll just around the World Showcase might be good enough. Oh, now Braden is not Brady, but Braden. I believe that's Mickey Views News, correct? Epcot, like I know Epcot is his favorite park, and he's said some things on his shows, on his news-based shows that really kind of really make sense about like the people mover, testing the people mover, and the real reason why that closed down. Yeah, exactly right. So Mickey views. I have not seen that. I have not seen that tweet yet, but that that might be a that might be a bad thing. I can tell you that right now because that looks complicated. That whole setup looks very complicated, and that if that needs to go down for maintenance, like that maintenance bring up, first of all, they could have definitely moved that backstage every night. That probably would have been the better thing to kind of see that and make that an event out of moving that centerpiece out and in all the time. I wonder how early in the process, though, did that was that changed? I really do. Was that before COVID or was it after COVID? I think that I think they probably need that. They're going to find that they're going to need that maintenance bay. Um, Only because if something happens to one of those barges, it's exactly like they did with the Illuminations Club. Even when they move the friendship boats, they play that the like a little soundbite spiel when they raise the bridge, like, oh, we are lifting the bridge because we're moving a friendship boat, and they give you facts about the friendship boats. If it's your first time, you definitely don't know a lot of those facts, and they play the Illuminations Tapestry of Dreams parade music with it. I mean, you're right. Who knows? It could have been something beforehand, and I think I to kind of piggyback on that, I do think a lot of these cuts that were made because of COVID were not because of COVID and they were pre-planned. A lot of the entertainment, and we've seen tweets before and hinting that, yeah, maybe this was in the works before COVID, like the Japanese drummers going away, some of the entertainment around World Showcase going away, that live entertainment. And it's just now we have an excuse. COVID. Oh, we'll blame COVID. It's COVID's fault. Um, so I think a lot of some of these budget cuts might have had to deal with, or had to deal with, nothing to do with, excuse me, nothing to do with COVID, everything to do with Bob Chapek trying to save some money. We have a lot of big ticket. Yeah. COVID's just a convenient excuse. Totally. Mm-hmm. I get it. Yeah. I think there's a couple non-starters. I think the Voices of Liberty, if the Voices of Liberty went away, people would throw a fit. Oh, Jinx. Exactly. Jinx. I'm like, what is this? I'm going along with it. Maybe it was a band I've never heard of at Epcot, but I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking maybe the Jameters. But they're still there. But like Voices of Liberty and the Mariachi Cobra, if those went away, people would have a fit. They would totally have a fit. And eventually they'd be forced to bring it back, or another park would probably gobble those cast members up and say, hey, we have a place for you. Come see. I guess the members have their own group outside. Some of the members called Voctiv, and they might go by that name in a park, in a different park like Universal. Totally. I would have thought the drummers for Japan, I thought those would have been sacred, because that's a cool thing. You have at the entrance every what, 25 minutes or so. You have the I forget what those uh what those are. Um, the official name of it, but those went away. It was a nice thing to draw you into the Japanese pavilion. There is a big Japanese following in the U.S. with um, manga, anime, that types of Pokemon even. So there is that Japanese subculture that would draw people in no matter what. But it was an extra touch. Again, same with the Dapper Dans. With the Dapper Dans not returning till what, Halloween? That surprised me. That really did surprise me that it didn't return to Halloween. Especially when they're doing characters from the train station balcony. Train stations from the Frontierland balcony. The balconies in front on top of the Frontierland buildings. They could have brought them back a whole lot earlier, or and just maybe have them do so, or put them on a float. Geez, make them have a Dapper Dance cavalcade. 2 on one side, 2 on the other. They're singing Disney songs. They're singing a Disney song. I mean, they had the marching band, the Main Street Philharmonic. Not really much of a stretch right there. But I don't know. Like, now here's the thing, though. Since the Main Street, yeah, they added some street atmosphere, and it was based on the citizens of Hollywood, which I believe opened with the park, right? At Hollywood Studios, MGM Studios. And they were only there since 2000. They weren't anything that was like opening day or anything, but they're added like in the 2000s. Based on the success of the Hollywood Studios. So again, growing up, walking down Main Street and just going straight towards the castle. The only thing that came down that street was parades. And you really didn't have those actors. So for me, again, growing up, I don't have memories of them. So it kind of hits less because the only times that the street atmosphere actors were there would probably be, again, maybe 3 or 4 of my visits. Again, I can't remember the exact year that they were there. I'm guessing, I don't remember than 2004. When we were there, they could have been, maybe they're in the background. So 2007, 2011, 2019. So yeah, we'll say 3 to 4. So the majority of my trips, mhm. The Royal Majesty. Now, see, I never came across them, the Royal Majesty makers. Were those the people that ran the Sword in the Stone? I forget. Or am I thinking something else? Again, this is pulling the sword out of the stone. I'm not riding a bicycle or anything. But yeah, some like the thing that's very touchy. Got it. Touching. Yep. So those were there for a while. I mean, pull the sword out of the stone. I've always wanted to do that. I've seen the show, and that was definitely very, very fun indeed. They also hosted the rope drop show. See, there we go. I've only done rope drop for like 2 things in my life. I've never rope dropped the Magic Kingdom from what I can remember. Because we would all, if it was a day trip, we would always get there after park opening. So the park was already open. I was like a little kid for day trips. When we started staying there, we'd be sleeping in. And like day 1 would be like Animal Kingdom. And the Magic Kingdom would be either day 2. We were big fans of the park hopping. Especially when they took off the restrictions that you could only park hop to one other park, like maybe 1 to 2 other parks or, like, 1 extra visit, and, like, you had to count how many parks you parked hop to, and if you did a 3rd park in a day, then it counted as day 2, like, that was so complicated. And then when they finally just said, "You can just park." I know, I know. I've done it twice. I've only roped up 2 different Disney parks, 2 different times. Um, but I like to sleep in, and the majority of the times, we would make sure we visit parks when they had evening extra magic hours. So we wouldn't do rope drop because we would know we'd be in the Magic Kingdom at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. Went back when they had extra magic hours to 2 a.m. Oh, I love that. I'd be like falling asleep on Buzz Lightyear going, "Did I score? Did I score? Did I hit the target?" Um, so we would take advantage of those evening extra magic hours whenever they occurred. And then with parks that didn't have extra magic or they didn't really line up with our schedule all too much with the evenings. Like Epcot, like we'd spend there. I can tell you that Disneyland, there's a word. I'm waiting for it. Like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's going to show up soon. I know the word's going to show up soon. I've done Disneyland from 8 to midnight back in November of 2019. So I've done Disneyland rope drop to close. Yep, there we go. I know it. I've done rope drop to park close for that. Maybe a couple, like a minute or two after the park open or open. But essentially, we were walking from the hotel. Um, and we were in downtown Disney, and it was maybe like 5 minutes. I count that 5 minutes after 8. That it's 5 minutes. Um, so we did that on for one day, and then we did Hollywood Studios back in July. That was the only other time I've ever dropped the park, sitting waiting for a park pass and getting on Rise of the Resistance pretty quickly. I actually was surprised how of the boarding group that we did get, and I was very early on in the day. Um, so I was definitely happy with that. But those are the only 2 parks I've ever road trip. Yep. Sanitizer? Yeah, you definitely need a lot of sanitizer right now. Although I don't have any. No, I lied. I do. I have this big giant bottle that I bought back in. I don't know. It's July. Maybe I did buy this in July. I touched it. Use it. It's kind of like so Luma mentioned. It's like, oh, sanitizer. I'm looking at it. Maybe I shouldn't have touched it. All right. Um, but honestly, one thing that really shouldn't go away after this whole thing is over, that this pandemic is really over, those hand sanitizer stations. They really, honestly, maybe include one at the exit, maybe like put them throughout the park. They don't have to be like the frequency that they were doing, but every once in a while, oh, look, hand sanitizer station. Let's put that out there. Really? No, for me, Purell is. I've always gone with Purell with hand sanitizer. Although Disney, that's their that's their single service brand that they sell in the gift shops. Although it's not really hard to come by here. You might need to pick yourself up some when you come back to Illinois because it's not really hard to find up here. Especially go to like Target. Target has a lot of it. I actually restocked on a Lysol spray for the first time in a really long while. So for me being the Jeremy person, okay, good night. All right, good night. Um, good night, Aaron. Um, I always keep a Lysol wipes no matter what, and Lysol spray no matter what. Like that's just me even before the pandemic. So it's like, oh look, he has a can of Lysol. I know, I know. It, so for me, just kind of wiping stuff down, it's like I feel normal right now. Anyway, um, yeah, I think we're actually at a good stopping point though, because um, I've said all I need to say about the 50th anniversary. I want to talk a little bit about WandaVision, but my just kind of thoughts. But season finale is on Friday, so I'll wait till after to kind of give my spoiler-free review because I know some people still want to see the season finale and they want to experience everything, and they might be waiting to binge watch. So I'll wait to kind of say anything about it, but it's been getting better and better. Let's just say that. The first three, I liked it because I'm really a fan of sitcoms. And if you look at all the concept art posters, there was a sitcom thing behind it. But then it really started to get Marvel-y episode 4. And then really the last 2 episodes, and I'm assuming this one, it's basically what you expect in a Marvel movie. And without giving away too much of it. So it's very unique, very untraditional. But I'm excited for episode 9 and where they're going with this. I'm excited. Like there's going to be something new Marvel. Either something new with Marvel or Star Wars, or maybe it's just Marvel. Every Friday from here on out. I mean, this Friday you have this again season finale WandaVision. After that's the making of WandaVision, which I don't know about you guys. I'm a nerd for that type of stuff. I love that type of scene, but behind the scenes and hearing the actors' inputs on that stuff. And then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier starts after that. And I don't know. Again, I haven't been a Marvel fan, but they've sucked me in. Just like like the Mandalorian, I'm not really a Star Wars fan. If you told me, oh, we're gonna watch the Phantom Menace or the New Hope, probably more New Hope or one of the new or the Last Jedi, I'd be like, okay, all right, I'll sit down, but I'll be on my phone, kind of just like, oh, all right. But the Mandalorian, it had me in from like episode 2 or episode 3. It took a little bit to grow on me, but I'm like, okay, what's happening next? I can't wait for next week. Can't wait for season 2. Can't wait for season 3 because it does incorporate that Western aspect into the show. So if you're not really a Star Wars fan, you're like, oh, this is like a space Western. So if you're more a fan of Westerns, this is the show's for you. And they had there's comedy and they had like Horatio Sands was in it. For a couple episodes, Bill Burr, like they had a lot of comedians. Amy Sedaris was in 2 episodes. Of course, you had Bing Na Wen. She's not really a comedian, but she was in it. She was Mulan. And she's going to be in her own Star Wars spinoff. I'm excited for what they're doing. All right. On that note, thank you guys for watching on this Monday night. I know in some areas it is late, especially on the East Coast. So on that note, I will see you in infinity and beyond. Bye-bye, everybody, and have a great week. Bye.